What we're going to talk about today is Azure Site Recovery. We're going to talk, so first of all, let's just break it down. What is Azure Site Recovery, right? So it's Microsoft's business continuity, data recovery, or disaster recovery service, right? So they want to help you either move your VMs to the cloud in order to back them up, or you can go from site to site with the service. So how does it work, right? You need to coordinate and set up the replication between the sites, between the servers. So you've got a couple of options, right? You can back up an Azure VM to an Azure VM in a different geolocale. You can back up a physical server up to Azure. You can back up a VMware infrastructure up to Azure, and you can also back up Hyper-V up to Azure. And for the physical and the VMware, those are real-time replications that are happening, as opposed to Hyper-V, which you can get it down to a 30-second window. Some of the great features about it is that it has application awareness. So it knows that you're running SharePoint, it knows that you're running SQL, Exchange, Dynamics, Active Directory, and some other services where it's able to very easily stop in one location and start in another in the event of a disaster. As I previously said, it does have region-to-region replication. So if you want to take your replication from the East Coast to the West Coast, or something along those lines, very easily done, built into the service. From a security perspective, it supports encryption at rest and encryption in transit. So if as long as you're backing up an Azure virtual machine to an Azure virtual machine, or you're backing up from your local VMware infrastructure up into Azure, that is all encryption in transit, as well as encryption at rest when it lands in Azure. The only sort of caveat to that is if you're backing up from your own site to your own site, they're not going to guarantee the encryption at rest there. Some of the great things, you can run automated recovery scenarios without disruptions in your environment. So if you wanted to run a disaster recovery scenario in an Azure site without having to take down your production infrastructure, you can run those just as tests to make sure they're actually working. It does have auto failover capabilities, as well as auto failback capabilities. Another caveat about that is if you're replicating an on-prem physical server to an Azure VM, there's currently no way to fail back over to that physical server. So just something to keep in mind there if you're going from physical to Azure. And then just the continuous replication, as I sort of mentioned briefly earlier, with VMware, it's continuously replicating, and so your RTO and RPO are easily met by working on that platform. If you have any other questions about it, we're really happy to help out. So please feel free to reach out, click the link below, and let Pragmatic Works help you out with your Azure infrastructure. Have a great day.